Hi, I'm Ana Canales and this is my video for the Global Citizen Scholarship. Alright, so before I get to my idea, I am going to tell you a little bit more about myself and about what led me to come up with this idea. And I'm going to do it with this. Alright, let's get started. As aforementioned, my name is Alejandra Canales. I am 16 years old. I enjoy both graphic and traditional novels, alternative music, and romantic walks to the fridge. Anyways, a huge part of my personality and ideology is the Democratic Party. For a long time, I was doubtful of which party I belonged to, but after I took a quiz in history class, I found out that I was the most liberal person in the room. After some research, I confirmed that this was the party for me. I am also a huge feminist. I actually have a friend who has dubbed me the ultra super feminist of the school. I believe with all of my soul that women and men should be equal in all aspects of life. There are many different factors that have shaped the person that I am today, but if I had to narrow it down to one moment, it'd be that time that I had accidentally stayed up surfing the internet. It was say around 3:20 a.m. and as I was browsing I came across an article that truly shocked me. It linked me to a live stream and I started watching. So apparently a really awesome Texas politician named Wendy Davis had just spent 13 hours filibustering an abortion bill that she believed in on the Senate floor. This proposed legislation would force nearly every abortion clinic in Texas to close, practically encouraging illegal and life-threatening procedures. The Senate was determined to pass this though, and even though she had spoken for a full 13 hours, they called her filibuster invalid because she had used a back brace. They declared her entire effort invalid. All hope seemed lost. Meanwhile, a crowd had gathered on both the inside and outside of the Senate chamber. When the time came for the final vote, they began to chant in support of Wendy. They chanted so loudly and so strongly that the vote could not be held and time ran out, actually realizing what Wendy had set out to do in the first place. Despite one's own personal views on abortion, one must admit that this was truly a magical moment. Here was a woman, standing up for something that she truly believed in and achieving it through the power of the people. This also elicited a huge social media response and sent shockwaves throughout the country's political realm. The people, when united, cannot be defeated. Now, I have been watching all of this live, and I was freaking out. I had just witnessed firsthand how people truly can bring about change and make history all on their own. I was inspired. My brain was filled with ideas of politics and charity and social reform. I spent hours researching news and issues every day, educating myself with the current problems of our world. Witnessing this historic event had given me a new outlook on the power of true democracy and left me with a determination to make a change. And that is who I am today. Alright, here's the good part. So in coming up with this idea, I sat down and thought to myself, alright, what's wrong with America's education system? Not to be rude, I really don't mean to be rude, but it's probably a lot of stuff. So instead of just picking one and trying to fix that individually, why don't we hit every bird with one stone? Basically, the entire thing is centered around the basic idea of checks and balances. This is called Operation Voice because this will give students in America a voice, a reasonable voice, that will get things done. This is a step that will probably require the most work for schools, but it is simple nonetheless, very easy to implement. This is how it works. We set up a concern box for each grade level or class in the school. Now with these concern boxes, each student can write down whatever they feel is unfair, unjust, dangerous, anything they want. They can write it down, put it in the box, there it is. Now to deal with these concerns, we set up a committee. Now this committee is composed of students that are fairly elected by their peers. They have to write a paper, go through a background check. It's not a popularity contest. They have to be qualified for the job. Now this committee, weekly or bi-weekly, sorts through the concern box for each class. And they eliminate the concerns that are obviously illegitimate. Any pranks, any weird drawings, anything that really doesn't make any sense is thrown out because of course we cannot avoid kids being kids and people trying to make a joke out of the whole thing. So we might as well just deal with it, right? The legitimate concerns, however, are sorted through and organized based on what aspect of the school they deal with. Now, at the end of each term, the committee composes a survey. This survey contains questions based on the concerns that were most voiced throughout the term. Basically, students are voicing whatever they feel like they need the most. It is counted together and pitched to the school, and this is what the school will use as a guideline on the actions to be taken the next year, on what funds it will ask for, on where the funds will go, etc., etc. If this is done correctly over the long term, the school will be much improved in the aspects that the students see are the most necessary and will eventually lead to a much happier student body. When a student wants to learn, but their teacher is not teaching them, it is a very frustrating and simply bad experience. It's frustrating. The student has to do the job that the teacher is being paid to do, and some students are not very good at teaching themselves because we're not supposed to do it anyways. So some students are not very good at doing it and therefore suffer and are blamed for not being good when the teacher is the one that is getting paid for doing absolutely nothing. This part will take care of that. Basically, it's very simple. At the end of each term, each teacher is anonymously rated. So a survey is passed out to each student for each teacher at the end of each term. Anything that may seem like a problem, the student has an opportunity to voice it on that paper anonymously. Now, of course, these papers are sorted as well because there will always be that one person that says something totally random that has nothing to do with the teacher or what is going on. So, of course, this is thrown out. The legitimate concerns, however, are compiled, and if a trend is seen of bad behavior, of ill habits, then the teacher is informed of this. If the teacher requires more training, he or she is giving training. If the teacher requires an attitude adjustment, he or she is advised to tone it down. Basically, each teacher is given a summary of how they are doing. They're given ratings, they're given scores. They're basically told what we are told all the time. I mean, there are some amazing teachers out there. Some teachers that dedicate their lives and inspire students to become better people. And they're great. They're fantastic people. They inspire hundreds of kids every year. They're an inspiration to us all. And they're great. But they're getting paid the same as these other teachers that just show up, give out a handout, and leave. And do nothing really to help any student. It's really not fair to anybody. This takes care of that. This entire system depends on the school actually going through with what the students want. It is a system that will finally bring about the change that is needed and will give students the reins in bringing about this revolution. The students make the important decisions. It is all up to us, finally.